Facebook, YouTube. How y'all doing out there? How y'all doing out there today? Again, it's Coach J. I stand at LLC here with you just to chat a bit. I was scheduled to go live at 7 with Coach Moore, but we had to reschedule for tomorrow at 7. So if you could tune in tomorrow at 7, we'd greatly appreciate it as we get into that discussion and lift up some points to bring some awareness to certain points from that conversation. But if you're on YouTube, and please hit like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share it. If you're watching on Facebook, please hit like, please share it as we have this discussion, this part 2 discussion about being in position. Now, I was sitting here just doing some thinking, reflecting on the conversation yesterday, just watching some things that are going on in the news. And I started to think about, making impact and, and being a contributor. And this thought came to my head, and I'm going to share it as a quote on Facebook. Don't just be a resident of your city, of your state, but be a contributor to your state, to your city, to your county, to your locality. Let me say that again. Don't just be a resident of your city, of your state, of your locality, but be a contributor, right? And being a resident and not being a contributor is almost like being a consumer and not bringing anything other than that to the table. You're always eating, consuming, but you're never bringing anything additional to the table. Or you just living, but you're not adding any value to your community. And so my question to you is, as an individual, what value are you adding to your community? What value are you adding to your family? What value are you adding to your loved ones, to your family, to your friends? Are you bringing any value to any of your relationships? And I'm asking these questions because I was even talking to my dad today. We was just talking about, like, how can we really bring a change in the community? Like, what can we really do? What can, this entity do or that entity do? And I believe that if, as individuals, if we would begin to really look at why we exist, why we're on earth, what's the purpose of being here on earth? Is it just to work and retire? Own a piece of property, a home, and just, kick back and relax? Is it, just to live and make ends meet and, get a car, have an apartment? Like what is, what is the basis for existence? And I believe that we were all put here to contribute to the landscape of the world, not just the landscape of the state that you live in, not just the landscape of the county you live in, but I think the world should be all of our canvas. And that's how we should view, like, what it is that we want to do, how it relates to our reach. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how much impact can I make? Can I make just a local impact? Can I make a statewide impact? But I believe we should think broader than that. And we should think like the world is our canvas. Like, we can make impact in all of the world with our gift. Even as it relates to going to work every day, like, what is your goal? Is it just to do the 8 hours and go home? Like, let us start thinking that way and challenging. Like, every time I put out energy, I want to get a return from that. Challenge yourself to do that. Say, hey, Josh, every time I put out energy, I want to get a return. So I'm going to start looking at everything I do and put energy into and seeing what kind of return I can get out of it. Am I going to go to work and put 8 hours of energy into work and get nothing out of it, just to say I want to hit the clock and get that paycheck at the end of the week, at the end of the 2 weeks, at the end of the month? I feel like even if you work a 9 to 5, I feel like you can add more value to what you do day to day than just going in there punching the clock. Like, I'm sure there are people on your job that you can impact. I'm sure that there are conversations that you can have on your job to build community, And if we think about it like that, like, every moment is an opportunity, like, to invest or be invested into. I believe we can start bringing some change into our world. We can start moving the needle a little bit. I think it'll change how we raise families, how we look at our families. Like, what am I doing for my children? What am I doing for my nieces and nephews? When they see me, what do they see? Do they see anything that they can draw from? It doesn't matter if you're a doctor, lawyer, or a truck driver, a plumber. You work on the trash truck or whatever it is that you do. When people look at you, do they look at you like, wow, man, he's really bringing another flavor to, being the garbage man, like the garbage people who pick up my trash. The guy, he could easily dump that trash out and leave that trash can side the road. But he always nicely just rolls it up in the driveway. And so when I come out, all I got to do is pull it in. I think that's special because he is doing more than just his job. Like he's putting something more into it. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I hope that we can all begin to look at how are we contributing to this world that we occupy, that we reside in, to make it better than what it is in this moment. I want us to all look at that and not just like take up space, hold up space in this world and do nothing with it. I believe if we begin to see the positivity going on in our own life and begin to see, what we're doing from a purpose standpoint, impacting people, changing people's lives, I think that'll shift our consciousness, it'll shift our emotions, cause us to be more emotionally healthy, so we can give the right energy and the right vibes off to those who we come in contact with each and every day. And just like, I'm sure you've met people, I've met people that, you can look at them and just tell, man, they like just got a bad vibe, a bad energy about themselves. It's like, man, how did they get that way? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did you as a person, a whole human with blood flowing through your vein, like how did you get there? And like, what do you want to do to be able to change and shift yourself out of that space that you're in, to be able to do something different? But the violence is just really growing. It seems to be growing. It seems to be intensifying. It seems to be magnifying in several different areas throughout the world. In every community, there's some sort of violence. It's like, what can we do to put our children, our young people in a situation to be successful as they possibly can, and begin to see the world as their playground, begin to see the world and all the possibilities within it. And I think it's just some of the things that are going on in the community are just like suffocating. It's almost like taking the life out of our young people, and it's limiting their options, or at least what they see as options for themselves. So I'm going to keep raising this issue, keep lifting this conversation up. But the key point today, the key takeaway today is don't just be a resident in the state, in the area that you live in. Be a contributor. Be a contributor. I saw my pops be a contributor to the area that we lived in. And so I learned how to not only live and be a resident, but I learned how to be a contributor at a young age. And I always want to contribute to whatever area I'm living in, because I'm there for a reason. And wherever you are, I'm telling you that you are there for a reason. So figure out how you can contribute to make where you at a better place, so that people can look at you and say, okay, that's a contributor. Do you want to be a contributor, or do you want to just be a resident? I mean, it's your choice. You can choose, but it's almost like saying, I want to see change, but I ain't willing to do nothing about it. Do you really want to see change? I want to see our young people thrive. I want to see them, no matter what route they choose to take, I want them to be able to thrive and not have certain conditions and circumstances in the world to be a downfall for them. Like, it's some things that shouldn't be. It's some things that shouldn't be for our young people. It's some things that just shouldn't be. Violence, abuse, neglect. It's something that shouldn't be. Trauma. It's something that shouldn't be. And so, again, we're going to keep having these conversations, trying to work to get families healthy, trying to work to get individuals healthy, so that we can, if you have kids, you can raise healthy contributors to the world, not just your state. Look at it bigger than that. When you're working with your children, if you're a parent, if you're a coach or whatever, like, talk to your children about the world, not just their state. Talk to them about the world. You talk to them like, where you want to go to college at. You know what I'm saying? Talk to them about the world. You know, what do you want to live at? Talk to them about the world. You know, I know people because of being stationed in Germany that live abroad. They like live in Europe. You know, they're Americans, but they live in Europe and they enjoyed it. They enjoying it. You know, so the we got to broaden our view and really open our young people mind up to something greater, something that is different, to like give them hope that America can be greater than what they see it with their lens and in the moment that they exist in, because some don't believe that they're even capable and even able to have what they see on television or what they even dream about in their mind, because of just the stricken condition that just suffocates the life out of them each and every day. It's like, man, there's no way I can become that. There's no way I can do that. You know, with the way my situation is set up, and I think that's sad, because the mind is so wonderful, it's so strong, but whatever condition you're in, it will condition your mind, and so we have to be able to help young people realize that even if you're physically in something, if you do differently with your mind, that environment will not condition your body and your mind. You can be in an environment and you can condition your mind differently, even though you're physically in an environment, but it takes some work. It takes strategy. It takes assistance. It takes coaching. So our young people need help. And as an adult, I'm here to help. And I hope that if you're watching this as an adult, uncle, or auntie, or cousin, like, be willing to help. You know, be willing to help. And one key to helping is that when you're helping people, it's not about them doing what you want them to do or what you feel like they should do, but it's about looking at what they have and helping them see the abilities that are within them, the intrinsic abilities that are within them, and help them shape that and use what they have to make a better situation for themselves. Because if you just tell them what to do, how to do it, then who life are they living? They living your life. They're not living their own life, and soon they'll give up on that because it's not what motivates them. And so when you're coaching, when you're mentoring, you got to find out what motivates the person that you're working with, what motivates the young people out there today, and then take that motivation and help them piece that together to get the best out of what it is that motivates them, so that they can avoid them pitfalls. You know, the pitfalls are going to be there. We can't take some of the pitfalls away. They're going to be there. But if we can teach young people how to recognize the pitfalls, and if they do get trapped in a pitfall, then what tools are needed to get themselves out. Then we're creating some very resilient individuals that know how to overcome, to know how to push through, to know how to face difficulties, to be able to make decisions, and not just fold when a little bit of pressure is applied. I think young people today really they really fold under pressure, and so they're resilient. They adapt well, but I think when that direct pressure is applied, I think that they fold too easily, too swiftly. So that's one area you can look at when you're mentoring or helping a young adult, or even helping your child. It's just like guide them in a way that builds up their strengths, so that they can know who they are as an individual. Because when you know who you are, it gives you like a strength, right? When your foundation is strong, when your foundation is solid in who you are, it gives you a strength to be able to stand and to be able to contribute. But if I'm out here wandering and I don't know who I am, what I'm here for, what I'm supposed to be doing, it's difficult for me to contribute. And so with that said, I would say, man, I would say probably 60%, 60% of the world probably don't know why they exist, and they're really just wandering. I mean, you may feel like that's a high percentage, but I mean, it just is. If if we had more contributors, I think the world would be a bit different. But you look at the percentage of people that are contributors, that are driving the world as a whole, that percentage is not high. It's not high. And I may not be a Bill Gates or a Warren Buffett. I may not be a contributor on that level, but I'm a contributor on my level, and I recognize what my contribution is, and I'm gonna pour that contribution out until I can pour no more, right? And so if I look at it that way, and all of us look at it that way, we'll wake up every day with a different consciousness about how we're gonna approach our day, because we're approaching our day knowing that we're about to contribute. It's all about contributing, not just living and being a resident of a state, of a city, of a county. It's about being a contributor in whatever area you live in. So my call to you, my call to action for you is to figure out how can you be a contributor in the area that you live in, and how you can make impact in the area that you live in, and even beyond that. Start thinking world, not just state of Georgia, state of Texas, state of Tennessee, state of New York. Start thinking the world, start thinking the world, because when you start thinking the world as a leader, as a parent, you'll be open enough to have conversations about the world to your children. And I think our children need to think from a world view versus just a state view or a U.S. view. I think we need to take our minds broader than that and open their minds up to something broader than that, so that they can just see life as big as they possibly can, and just aim for something beyond the stars. I'm so thankful my son got the experience traveling throughout Europe and all over. It was just beautiful, because it shaped his mindset. Like, things that he experienced day to day is really not shocking, because of all that he's been able to see, all that as parents we were able to expose him to. And so I'm thankful for that. So let us broaden our view, and let us be more than just residents, but let us be contributors, and let us make impact, and let us begin to bring change in our community, because we need it yesterday. We need it yesterday. So again, man, I appreciate everybody that's tuned in. Those who will go back and watch the replay, again, please hit like, please hit share. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, share it as well on there. And again, we'll be back tomorrow with Coach Moore, talking about student athletes, talking about what families can do, what communities can do to help student athletes, what voids exist in the lives of student athletes that may cause them to not make it to the next level. We're going to have that conversation tomorrow, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. No, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Take care. Peace out.